Hey everyone, how's it going? I hope you're all doing well as usual. So back today with another long promised collection update. You'll recall that I was going to do this more recently, but then I joined Tony's thread, so it was delayed by one video, but I needed more time to catch up with these releases anyway. So these are just 4 releases that I picked up recently, just bits and bobs. Some were blind buys, some were random, other ones I've been trying to look for a long time. But yeah, we have 4 albums to talk about, mostly within the realms of, no, actually, it's a bit of a mix. There's black metal, heavy metal, and thrash/groove metal, so a bit of everything. But yeah, as I said, these are just ones I was looking out for. So 4 CDs, and I'll get straight into it. Just consult my notes first. Okay, so first and foremost, the album that I picked up recently is Memento Mori by MARDUK. So everyone knows this is my favorite black metal band of all time. So Swedish band, and this album came out in 2023, I think, but because of where I live, it's been difficult to find and to pick up, but I finally got it from my local contact, and it was definitely worth the wait. Yeah, MARDUK probably need no introduction to most people, like fast blasting, brutal black metal most of the time, although earlier on in their career there were some more sort of atmospheric moments. But yeah, I've probably said this before, but to me MARDUK are like the AC/DC of black metal, not in terms of the way they sound, but just in the sense that they're just as consistent, extremely consistent, and also it's analogous to that idea that you know what to expect, you know what you're going to get. There are no surprises, but at the same time, that's what you're hoping for and that's what you love. So this album is no exception. But having said that, I think this album is one of the best that they've done in years, honestly. Like, there are other albums, like I think there was a certain period with MARDUK where it was becoming a little bit formulaic. Other people might say that's been the whole time, but especially with like the album like Wormwood, I felt that's when it was getting into sort of safe, familiar territory. But then they came back with some really impressive albums, and I think this one's one of the best they've done in years. So yeah, like I said, MARDUK is mostly like fast and blasting black metal. And this album though, it's got some interesting changes. Like in comparison to some of the other more recent ones they've done, I find this one very riffy and memorable, particularly with the guitar hooks and melodies. So despite the pummeling blasting, there is also some hooky and melodic elements, which is really good. And what I like about, especially with the new era of MARDUK since Plague Angel, the drums, including this album, have a very organic sound, and it sounds great when they're being absolutely pummeled. And there is also a lot of tempo variety within each song. So like for example on Wormwood, they used to have like one fast song, one slow song. So it's sort of, in a sense, kind of a predictable formula. But on this album, they actually change up the tempo within each song. So if you know and love MARDUK, you will definitely like this one too. It's absolutely fantastic. So like I said, you know what to expect. No big surprises, but there are some interesting twists to it. So yep, the whole album is really good. No bad songs on this, but I'll just talk about some of my favorites. So some of my favorites, the first one would be the opening title track, Memento Mori. So that is fast and blasting with some really catchy riffs, as well as some occasional guitar harmonies. There's also a variety of tempos and a few twists and turns in that song. The drums allow moments for the guitars to breathe. Like they have that part, which I love, where there's just this section with open guitar chord riffs without any drums, which is also featured at the end of the song. That's very reminiscent of some of the kind of riffs they did in the Heaven Shall Burn era. But I absolutely love that opening track, Memento Mori, especially the slow power open chord parts. Yeah, the first 3 songs are, the second song is a bit more mid-pace, like kind of a marching pace, but really good. Another favorite song of mine is track 3, Blood of the Funeral. That's just got some fast blasting and swarming guitar riffs, which open the track. And the riffs are fast, but extremely catchy and hooky. And this track is, to me, it's like the oral equivalent of getting bombarded and attacked by a swarm of bees. Like you hear that, oh, it's just so good. Like that's an interesting new edge to the riffs. And it also features some deep, like kind of horn-sounding instruments, which contribute to the dramatic atmosphere and the warlike nature of this track. So Blood of the Funeral is absolutely fantastic as well. Some of my other favorites would be track 6, Coffin Crawl. Now this one, it's interesting, Coffin Crawl, the riff in that sounds very similar to me, like to the main riff in Fist Fucking God's Planet from Panzer Division MARDUK. But yeah, just that classic MARDUK sound, so they're still retaining some elements of the old, which is great. And what else do we have? Yep, I also really like track 8, which is entitled Year of the Maggot. That's got some classic MARDUK riffing, like, you know, really fast and blasting once again, but also the stop-start riff in that song is extremely catchy. Track 9 is really good as well, like Red Tree of Blood, just again, it's a total blast fest, like in that classic MARDUK style. And the album concludes with As We Are, which almost sounds like a heavy funeral procession. But yeah, you know what to expect from MARDUK, and this is not disappointing. So just to recap, my favorite tracks would be Memento Mori, Blood of the Funeral, Coffin Carol, Year of the Maggot, and Red Tree of Blood. But absolutely no bad tracks whatsoever. So I'm going to do a MARDUK ranking lately, and I will say this. There's one album by them I still don't own, believe it or not, which is Serpent Sermon, just because for some reason in this part of the world it's hard to get hold of that album. But I will do a MARDUK ranking. Just to give you some perspective here, I would say that this album is way better than Wormwood, for example, which is probably my least favorite MARDUK album, although it's still good. And I think it's much more memorable than Franchwein, you know, which only came out a couple of albums ago. Victoria, the album I really liked, but I would say this is, I don't think, because there's so many classic, brilliant MARDUK albums, I don't think it quite makes my top 5, but it's easily within their top 10 of 15 albums, and probably closer to the top 5, if that makes sense. But yeah, absolutely brilliant album. So to show you the cover here, interestingly, they didn't include the traditional logo, but they do on the back. I really like this artwork, by the way, though, it's cool. And just show you the disc. Really nice art direction with this particular release. And I just love the artwork in this, so cool. Fresh, thick, glossy booklet with all the lyrics, big and readable, which is nice. Picture of the band there, which is cool. So again, they sort of say officially they're a 3-piece, you know, with Morgan, the band leader, on guitar, Daniel on vocals, aka Mortis, who's got like that, you know, really caustic, pissed off, belligerent style of vocals, which I really like. And also the drummer, the guy holding the shovel, Simon Schilling, who is an absolute killing machine on the drums. You know, like Frederick Anderson had a very particular powerhouse effect, but Simon, he's just a really fast player, so absolutely fantastic. Showing you the rest here, some more cool artwork. Anything else? Yeah, more pictures. Absolutely brilliant. So the full package, not just the music, but the way the album's presented, it's great. So yeah, as I said, this is coming close to my top 5 MARDUK albums of all time, and I think it really is a fantastic return to form, so definitely check it out if you haven't. MARDUK with Memento Mori. Oh, by the way, that means Memento Mori, like, I think a lot of people see it as a morbid statement, like, oh, you're gonna die, but it actually comes from the ancient Romans, and the meaning of the expression was, yes, be aware of the fact that one day you're going to die, so therefore make your life meaningful and worthwhile and memorable. You know, as they said in Gladiator, what we do in life echoes in eternity. All right then, so coming up next, we're going to stay in Sweden with a similar style. This is NECROPHOBIC with In the Twilight Grey. Sorry I hesitated with that, but I've been listening to this album so much, and I forgot to bother reading the title before doing this video. Yep, so NECROPHOBIC, Swedish band, and they started out as a pure death metal band, you know, established, founded by drummer Joachim and David Black Moon Parland of Dark Funeral, rest in peace, he passed away about 10 years ago. And they started out as a sort of purist heavy death metal band, sort of like the Swedish equivalent of, not of Deicide, but it was that very sort of satanic death metal. But as everyone probably knows, their sound evolved into what they call blackened death metal, you know, sort of like death metal, which is very melodic, but there's certain black metal elements, particularly with some of the riffs and also the raspy vocal style, so like a kind of crossover. But a lot of people, when they think blackened death metal, they think, oh, like Dissection. This is a little bit different to Dissection. I would say it's not as super melodic, but it's certainly melodic. And just an absolutely brilliant album in so many respects. So I don't know where to start with this actually, but I will do my best. But yeah, so the sound has evolved, the sound of the band has evolved over the years, and in my honest opinion, I think it's changed for the better. As in, it just, the Nocturnal Silence is a great album, but it's just improved substantially over time. So yeah, like I said, it's not super melodic like Dissection or Sacramentum. The way I'd best describe it is it's like somewhere between Dark Funeral and Dissection, as in terms of the Dark Funeral aspects, there's that fast blast beat ridden wall of sound that they have, but then with Dissection there's the melody, but it's not like saccharine, sickly sweet melody, which is really cool. So and what I also really like about this album is the sheer diversity of the tempo and the rhythms, thanks to drummer Joachim. Like, it's not all just predictable blast beats or predictable mid-pace parts. There's all sorts of interesting rhythms on this, and just so many like hooks, guitar hooks and melodies and harmonies which reel you in. The vocals are in that sort of raspy black metal style. Really good. And what's interesting about this is the reason I bought it is because, of course, I knew who Necrophobic were. I owned one of their albums, but I've just heard so many people praising this album, so I requested this from, a family member offered me a birthday gift, and I requested this album. Certainly didn't regret it. And what's interesting about it is each time I listen to it, I find something more in it. There's more depth to the music because it's such a complex layering of all these, rhythms, riffs, harmonies, melodies, like an alchemy, a melting pot of a lot of interesting stuff going on. And the more I listen to it, the more I like it. So again, there are no bad tracks on this album, but I would have to say, if I just consult my notes here, my favorite tracks are undoubtedly track 4, which is entitled Stormcrow. I think that was released as a video single. It's just so hooky and melodic and memorable. The chorus is fantastic. I really like it. And the other track, what was it? Track 5, Shadows of the Brightest Night. Again, just incredibly catchy with some memorable melodies. And I also really like track 7, Cast in Stone. And a new favorite of mine is track 8, Nordavind, which is sort of a tribute to their Nordic Scandinavian homeland, and they recently released a video for that too. So I think it's no coincidence that the tracks I like the most essentially were the ones released as singles, which shows that they were the catchiest and the hookiest. But absolutely brilliant album, and I need to pick up more albums by this band. So maybe you guys tell me which other ones would you recommend. As I said, I only own the Nocturnal Silence. I think Mark of the Necrogram is supposed to be a really good one, but I'm sure they all are, that's what I've heard. So here's the cover art, nice, and just song titles on the back, and just showing you the booklet. So picture of the band there, and all of the lyrics, which I need to spend more time with actually, and pictures of the band. Lyrics. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely brilliant release. Like, I'm still getting my head around this actually, because there's just so much to take in. It's a complex layering of music, which is what makes it interesting. I always find it interesting when you listen to an album, you get something new out of it each time. So yeah, if you like Swedish melodic blackened death metal, you will definitely love this. Especially like I said, it's not exactly like Dissection or Sacramentum, but if you like those Swedish bands, you will probably enjoy this very much. And I'll say this, I saw this band at Dark Easter Festival in Germany in 2019. They were one of my favorite bands, so also a great live band. Just nothing but praise I can give to this band, so definitely check out this release if you haven't. That's Necrophobic with In the Twilight Grey. Fantastic album. All right. All right, up next, we're looking at a blind buy, which I saw just recently in the shop, and I was taken in by the hype sticker, so I had no idea what to expect, but I absolutely love this album. This is Night Demon with Darkness Remains. Yep, so if you're not familiar, Night Demon are a new heavy metal band. They're an American heavy metal band from what's called the new wave of traditional heavy metal. So in other words, modern bands playing that traditional heavy metal style. So a lot of people might say that market is oversaturated, but I don't think so. I think as long as a band releases quality albums, it's always going to be interesting, and there's nothing wrong with playing that old traditional style which people want to hear, and this album is no exception. So, like I said, look at that cover art with the kind of Grim Reaper or the skeletal figure in the cloak. It's very cool, and I was, to be honest with you, I was just reeled in by the hype sticker. I thought, I'm sold on this. It says, sorry, please be patient with my bad eyesight. The Kings of the Underworld return with their second full-length album. Darkness Remains is chock full of 10 fist-pumping, neck wrecking, as pure as the driven snow heavy metal anthems. So couldn't have said it better myself. That's all you need to know. So there's all those traditional elements of heavy metal, you know, like twin guitar harmonies, catchy riffs, galloping riffs, running breaks, melodic guitar solos, soaring vocals, and just really catchy sing-along chorus, like they say here, fist pumping. Yeah, it's just very extremely catchy. And what is interesting though is the vocals. They're a bit different. You know, a lot of people expect heavy metal vocals to be like high-pitched and screechy. Like they're not low on this, but they're kind of a mid-range, which I've seen a lot of those more modern bands do. Like it's a lower pitch with the vocals, maybe because, you know, it's boring to rehash what they did in the 80s and everything, but they're not as low or weird as the vocals in Megaton Sword, but like they're kind of a mid-range. But I really like the vocals, and they contribute to you being able to sing along to the song so well. So how many tracks have we got here? Yeah, 10, and they're all really good, but I have to say my favorites are track 2, Hallowed Ground. That's just very catchy and anthemic. And then tracks 6, 7, and 8. So Dawn Rider, Black Widow, and On Your Own. Absolutely brilliant. And On Your Own, that track, it's funny. What you know when a band or a song has reeled you in because it's just stuck in your head. Because I remember just a couple of weeks ago, I was going, On Your Own, like the chorus was in my head, and I go, where does that come from? Is it the Swedish band Enforcer, who I recently saw in Bangkok, and they were fantastic? No, but they play in a similar style. But yeah, On Your Own, just an incredibly catchy chorus. But yeah, maybe a bit similar to Enforcer, but Enforcer takes more influence from Europe as well. This is more just like pure heavy metal, but absolutely brilliant. Love the cover art. It's funny, when I got this in the second-hand shop, it was shrink wrapped, and I thought maybe it's new, but it's scratched to shit by this pen mark. So, God, who would do such a thing? Who would desecrate such good quality music? But there you go, I got it at a cheap price anyway, and just comes in this digipack. Cool disc. No booklet, I don't think. Oh, there is. See, I never really pay much attention to lyrics normally, so I haven't actually got this out, but let's have a look for the purposes of this video. All right, so yeah, cover there, showing all the band members. Yeah, so it's nothing groundbreaking, but if you just like that traditional heavy metal style and really catchy anthemic songs, you're going to like this. And like I said, it's like an earworm, some of these songs, particularly On Your Own. But yeah, favorite tracks, Hallowed Ground, Dawn Rider, Black Widow, and On the Run. But once again, absolutely no bad tracks. If you like fist pumping anthemic heavy metal, check it out. That's Night Demon with Darkness Remains. Okay, and one more album for today, guys, and this is one which needs no introduction, so I probably don't need to say too much about it, and I'll try not to. I saw this secondhand in the shop, and I've never owned any CDs or albums in original format by this band, so I thought I have to get it. This is, of course, Pantera with Cowboys from Hell. So, yeah, Pantera, need no introduction, but just in case you've been living under a rock, they were sort of the pioneering metal band of the 90s, which invented that new 90s sound. Like, you know, in the 80s it was dominated by the thrash scene like Megadeth, Metallica, Anthrax, Slayer, but this album introduced what, you know, could loosely be called the like 90s heavy metal sound. They were a very innovative band. And just on that note, it seems like, I know they're very popular in the metal scene, but among certain metal elitists, this is the band that a lot of people love to hate, and I have no idea why. I know a lot of people say it's sort of like testosterone charged tough C music or meathead music, but I think, dare I say this, like it might be partly to do with the image of frontman and vocalist Phil Anselmo, but even him, despite his controversies over the years, of which there have been many, he has a very, you know, down-to-earth human side as well. So I think people just focus too much on the negatives of this band. But yeah, musically absolutely brilliant. So this band started out as a glam metal band in the early 80s, and then they sort of changed when they got Phil in the band. The album prior to this was power metal, which was really good. That was the name of the album. But this album marks the era of what could be termed the classic Pantera era, like this and the following 4 albums. That's sort of what later became their trademark sound. But what's cool about this one, like Vulgar Display of Power is what solidified that really sort of heavy groove metal sound, but this album still retains elements of traditional heavy metal and thrash, particularly with the vocals. Like Phil has some very high-pitched vocals on this, resembling Rob Halford, which are absolutely fantastic. And yeah, it's thrashy, but you see that groovy thrash sound emerging with this album. So I think really it's an absolutely innovative hallmark in metal music. I know Vulgar was considered the classic album, but I think this album is also very innovative. And for me, it's got a lot of nostalgic value because I was listening to this all the time when I was in high school in the 90s. So it's sort of like the last couple of years of high school and my first year of university, me and my friends always listened to this. And a lot of my friends, even though I was listening to extreme metal at the time, a lot of my friends didn't like that. Like I had one friend who liked punk, and some friends who only liked traditional heavy metal. But Pantera, it seemed, was the band we could all agree on in the 90s. So we listened to this a lot at house parties and in the car and everything. So great nostalgic memories of the 90s with this album. Yes, everyone knows it. It's funny, when I was younger, as is often the case, I always listened to the first half of the album on repeat and really liked it. But these days, because I've heard the first half so many times, I really like the second half too. Like, no bad songs on this, like Cowboys from Hell is an absolute classic. Primal Concrete Sledge is a bit awkward, but also very fast and brutal. Psycho Holiday, I really like the chorus in that. Oh, so nostalgic of that time for me. Probably my favorite songs on this are tracks 4, 5, and 6. Heresy, which is just really thrashy. Same with Domination, absolutely brilliant. And I love that performance of them in Russia doing that song. And Cemetery Gates is just a atmospheric heavy metal classic, especially with Phil's soaring vocals and the clean guitars. Oh, it's pure nostalgia, this album. And then we go into Shattered, which has some really high-pitched falsetto vocals from Phil. And I was going to tell an anecdote about that story, but I won't because it will only make sense to me, but really good song. And then, yeah, the songs that I've been really getting into recently are the remaining ones like Clash with Reality, Medicine Man, Message in Blood, The Sleep, and The Art of Shredding. I really like that groovy stop-start riff in The Sleep. But classic stuff, great album. So if for some reason, I know like sometimes a lot of younger people, they come in and go straight into extreme metal and then they can be snobby about like more accessible music, but obviously I would say if you haven't checked this out, definitely do so. Like I don't know, it's innovative, it's extreme, it's interesting, I just love it. So just showing you the disc first of all, which is very nice. Just got that image of Phil there. And there we have the cover and all of the lyrics. So this is the OG pressing. I also got this one secondhand. Picture of the band. Yeah, so I don't call Pantera a guilty pleasure. Why would I? I mean, we should never feel guilty about what we listen to. But even still, I just love this album in general and this band. I also saw Far Beyond Driven on sale. I was going to get that, except for me, that album, while I do like it, the first half is really good and then it sort of drops off in the second half. But like Vulgar, I've heard millions of times. I think The Great Southern Trendkill is a very underrated album. But yeah, this was the one I just had to pick it up. So yes, you all know it, Pantera, Cowboys from Hell. All right, and that's it for today, guys. Just 4 albums. And to my pleasant surprise, I don't think this has gone on for too long. At least I hope not. So yes, hope you enjoyed the video. I don't know what I'm going to do next, actually. Like now I've got all threads and contests out of the way. So in the next video, I might go back to my existing CD collection, continuing in the K, letter K, or I might do an episode of traditional heavy metal vinyl. Anyway, out of those 2 choices, let me know what you would like to see if you feel so inclined. But yes, as always, thank you for your support of the channel. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.